Greetings, welcome to Channel 6. I'm your host. We're doing a review today of the Magnavox Odyssey 2, a 1978 8-bit system. Let's take a look at some of its stats before we get to the system itself. This is the wiki on the device. Released in 78 in America, United States. This is a follow-up to the Magnavox Odyssey, which was a much simpler system. This was released in 72, and I don't think it had a CPU. I think it was discrete logic circuits. It basically existed as you used overlays, and it existed as a televised board game in essence. I think you could play something like Pong on it. This is the prototype that led to it. And the cartridges were just these little wiring selectors. It basically connected some of these, and then inside the unit itself, which, here's some of the accessories it had. Board game accessories, how about this? That's an interesting, that green one, secret message. It had, board game money. Interesting, it came with poker chips, but this was its design, and this is just so 70s looking to me. This is exactly what 70s electronics looked like before integrated circuits, maybe even 60s. Because if it came out in 72, he had to be developing it in the 60s. And this is a museum storage copy of it, with his 70s style wallpaper behind it. It retailed for $99.99 or $50. You saved almost $50 when you bought this with a television. Of course, if you bring that money forward to today, it's $611 last year. Wow. Just imagine if the Xbox or PlayStation 4 or whatever had been $600. And that's probably a decent equivalent. The inventor got a medal in 2006. He's passed away now. This is the drawings. His prototype for this was this thing right here, the brown box. That was his prototype that led to the Magnavox Odyssey. He says in the 50s he was working on building a TV, and he had this idea to interact with it. And he didn't do anything. And then 1966, when I arrived in this time frame, he started working on it. He wrote a proposal for a $20 game box that would plug into a television. Of course, by that time, mainframe system games actually existed. Yes, I'm drinking my tea time drink of choice around my microphone. So this was a competitor for the other major systems, the Atari, and this came out in 78, so not the ColecoVision yet. And I just read it. It had to compete with the Atari 2800, the Atari 2800, which came out in 1977. It's got some interesting joysticks. We'll take a look at those. Its biggest competitors, the Atari 2600, probably the biggest. The Intellivision, which I had one at one point, it didn't work and I got rid of it. And I have one of these too, the Astrocade. I've got the Bally Professional Arcade. I think mine looks a lot like that. The third in total of sales. I'll bet the Atari was first. It sold a lot. It didn't have the best graphics of all these systems. Well, it was probably on par with the Odyssey 2, as we'll see. So let's hopefully, if my OBS cooperates, I'm just wondering how long I've actually been recording the film, because I know I might have to cut this from the stream. I don't remember starting the film. Anyways, This is the system itself. One thing you'll notice is the membrane keyboard. These are never a pleasant thing to use compared to standard keys that you just push a key and it's mechanical, or the little spongy thing. This stuff is always very challenging. The Atari 400 was like this, but it was actually a full computer. There's no way to, without a special cartridge, put programs into this or do any kind of development. It's got a giant red power button. Do not press. This is pretty simple. It's got a cartridge slot, the standard kind. The joysticks are actually hardwired on this system. There were two designs, and this is an analog stick. You can feel it just goes wherever. It doesn't have a specific hit. It travels all around. The power button feels like no spring at all. It's very stiff, and it's hardwired, which I probably should take the rubber band off at some point. And you can see an interesting little cutout down here. I don't know, maybe they thought it needed aired out. You can actually see a metal disc in there. And you can see the joystick little nubble move around. It's got two of those, the other one's hanging off the edge. One of these RF adapter cables comes out, and they basically thought you'd run this wire to the TV set. That's why it's about 6 or 8 feet. And I've just got an adapter. It plugs into the back. I have the 75 ohm deal because the switch boxes just never give you a clear signal. And I haven't actually pre-tested this, so we're going to find out how it goes. And it's got one more thing, power plug, so we're going to plug that in now and do a little prayer that it actually works. This is the working one. And one thing I did with all of these things, I have a power strip on the other side of my shelves here that holds my unit and all my equipment. And I'm just going to leave them there and turn it on when I want them. So, I need to find out what I did. I moved the TV remote when I changed monitors. I actually have to go over to the appropriate, and we will go to the system panel view. And we're going to go over to TV, because it comes in on the TV, and turn it on and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Hey, this is good. It actually did something. Now, it doesn't have a cartridge in it, so it's displaying whatever that junk is. I'm not even sure. This probably comes out of memory. It's kind of interesting turning these old systems on sometime and getting like some bizarre random result. The Atari 2600 had a process where you flick the power switch very quickly called frying, and it would do interesting things to a cartridge. With this power switch, I don't think you can do that because it's a button. So let's try a game. This is the game that they got in trouble for, called Casey Munchkin, because it's very, very similar to another game, which I think you'll immediately recognize. And I think one of the reasons that they got in trouble for this, and it looks a little dirty there. Let's see if we can clean this up. Yep. These things, especially when I'm not going direct. And I don't think I'll check I'm not going to check the back. We're just going to deal with the noise. And, some of these, just even the wiring is like questionable. As soon as I set it down, it gets noisy. And there's not much you can do sometimes. I've got a gold connector. I just got a set of these, but it might be this. Now, as soon as if I'm holding it, maybe my hand's doing noise interference. There's a point where it was really clear. That's about as clear as it gets. In the filming, it looks much noisier than it does. As soon as I set it down, it does that. I cannot get a clear signal on this thing. And it might be this wire itself. This wire is stiff and not cooperating at all. I'm just going to mess around until it's As soon as I take my hands away, it's like it goes noisy. I don't know what to do with it. Let's hope we get a good signal here. We're going to move the coffee cup out to the storage location, perhaps. Okay, I would really like a better signal to film. When I jig with it, and it could be the wire itself, it shouldn't be this wire. This is a good wire here. So it's actually the other thing, and I really don't know what to do. It's just noisy. Okay, so the game selects these numbers, basically. And let's bring this game up. So you can probably immediately tell, and we don't have audio. Let's fix that. I didn't jig the audio. That's one thing I didn't get. So I've got to find it. There it is. Let me mute this because I'm gonna... Okay, let's hope we have audio now. I don't know how loud it's going to be either. We have audio. Okay. So you can tell from this why. And I think one of the main reasons, and I don't think it has a pause state. Reset resets it. I'm trying to see if there's a pause. Nothing pauses it. Am I actually putting in a high score? The score is 0. I wonder what all these... This is wild. I'm just putting in digits on a high score of 0. But you can see why they got in trouble. And it actually... It has very simple graphics. Okay, I'm going to go mess with the back of the TV. It has very simple graphics, and it looks better than the officially licensed version that another company paid a good amount of money to get the license. Okay, how do I don't really remember. Sometimes the connector on the back of the TV, I have the 75 ohm adapter for these RCA jack. This here plug right here. I have the adapter, and sometimes it gets loose, but it's not that. This thing just is noisy, and it's this right here. When I pick it up and hold it, it's pretty clear. But I can't, when I set it down, it should go noisy again. I can't get it to stay that way. I can't get it to stay clear. I'd have to sit here basically and hold it the whole time. And it might just be pushing it together tighter. I don't really know anything. So let's actually play the game. It seems to really go. So let's see what happens as we try to play this game. And I have the wrong joystick. The convenient joystick that's on my side, that's not the joystick. It's this thing that's laying over here. So, let's try that again. And you go. They'll come after you. When you hit the power point, you kill them. I guess he changed back. Okay, and they don't exactly have the kind of AI that, like, they track you. I suppose I didn't get the PowerPoint? They don't have... And the dots will move on top of you. It's good to destroy them before they change back. And I left a dot up there. And you can easily get trapped. Even though they don't have any logic. It seems like they just sweep around the board. And you can try and kill them. I'm going to go for that power pellet before they get up here. And you just eat all the dots. Kill these guys if you can. Look where that dot's at. How did he get way over there already? That's it. You just clear dots. And the points on this are pretty simple. Like a pointed dot, I think. Wow. It's just a pixel. It's just a pixel. And I try to kill a few of them just to get them out of the way, because this doesn't stay powered up very long, and you can easily get trapped. I'm going for the power pellet. There's 2 of them. Depending on the maze, I guess. The dots speed up. Going for the power pellet. You can't turn corners and get away from them. And I think it's over. Is that it? Okay, that ended and I got 36. And you can like put in a high score. Putting in Zyligny, one of my old RPG names. So this is KC Munchkin. They got sued for it. They actually had to take it off the market, I believe. They made an alternate to it that's really wild. And I should... this, I don't know if it's going to come through, is Casey's Crazy Chase. And it really is crazy. Let's take a look at this thing. They didn't get sued for this one. Ooh. How about that? That is 8-bit 78 goodness. Wow. It just blew its own mind. Let's try again. Sometimes you pull it out and push it back in. There we go. And some of these games might not look clear. I'm really, when I film, see one thing, my TV surface I'm using is really reflective. So you can see me reflected in it that the camera's picking up. You can probably see the camera mount reflected in it. So, let's take a look at this game. You're the same character, except there's like a centipede thing and things chasing you in trees. And I really don't know what to tell you about this game. I think you can eat the back of the centipede, but those things might kill you. And they're right there. Yeah, you can eat the back of the centipede. And I think that's what you're supposed to do. The trees slow you down, of course, and keep growing. You hit the front of the centipede, you die. And if you eat all the centipede parts, you win. This one, they kill you. This one, it's unique. It's probably why they didn't get sued, because it's like, what in the world? He eats, and I left a centipede thing behind. He eats trees. He ate himself. He ate his own piece. This is more fun than KC Munchkin, because you only have 2 things chasing you. You don't get points for eating trees. In fact, I'm not sure I've gotten any points. Oh, they speed up. And you spin around, you don't move like the pack. I can't get it. He's too quick. Wow. Oh, I'm trapped. Oh, I got 54. Okay, so that's it. I think it's just... You have 1 life. It is a 1-life game. That's it. You've got 1 life to do whatever that is. Let's take a look at a couple more. So Pac-Man was an essential game when it came out in 1980, but in 1978, this game came out. And they didn't get sued for this. Let's see how this works. So you probably already know what it is. And amazingly, it uses the other controller. Oh, wow. Okay, when your ship gets shot, your little trapezoid down here, you're out as a guy, but I don't know what you're supposed to do. Oh, you can actually turn back into a ship. Oh, crazy. This is a little different. You hit the button underneath the barricade and you turn back. You see, your barricades are your extra ships. But I shot him. But they're permanent. They don't get destroyed. You can't I don't think you can shoot the green things. Oh. You can shoot their shots. This is fast. They can defend themselves just like you can. I think they moved down a little bit, but you don't want him to come crazy down the screen. You want to kill him too. It's different enough from Space Invaders that I can see why they didn't get sued. Because this is wacky. I actually kind of like this, because Space Invaders gets boring. These kind of games, like, if you're exposed to too much of the same thing, like Pong. The first time I ever played Pong, I went down to my friend's house sometime in the mid-70s. Could have been 75, 76, 77. And he had gotten a Pong console, and I think it was the Radio Shack one, because we had a Radio Shack. And if it wasn't theirs, it was Sears. And I think we played for like 3 or 4 hours, and my mom came to get me, because I was still pretty young back then, like 9, 10, 11. I wasn't quite, it was about a quarter mile, and I wasn't quite walking down the road capable yet, in her eyes. And she was probably right. And that's all we did. He's like hanging out there. He got me. And then it just starts over. I got 4 points is all I got. Oh, you have to kill. You don't get points for killing these little guys. You got to kill that thing. So the orange things are like the guns, and then the invaders are like the little guys. I'm not sure if the little guys can shoot independent of the orange things. But we played Pong. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do when you're out of barricades, because he's just going to come kill you. That's it. You're done. These games had a simplicity, but like I'm just sitting here playing this over and over. I think you only get the 3, 4 guys. It's like Laser Blast by Activision is so simple. It's an Atari 2600 game. And I can play that game for hours. You just get into like a rhythm. I think you only get points for killing him. I don't think you get points for killing them. Because like my high score is 5 and I've eliminated a whole row of them before. Does it move down screen? I'm going to have to watch the film to see if it moves down screen. And do more? Yeah, more of those just keep coming out. Bim, 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 bim. See, the ideal thing, I think, is just, if they don't move down screen, just sit here shooting these if they're what gets you points. Don't bring another rack unless that finishes the game. Of course, having a barricade is ideal. Dun, 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 dun. It reminds me of $6 Million Man when he'd be doing his little $6 Million Man stuff. have no barricades. He came down. Now, you can't shoot. Oh, you gotta be fast. He's quick. He can't catch me, though. No, he got me. 6. I scored a high score of 6. I'm calling it. Okay. What else do we have? Invaders from hyperspace. Hello. Hello, Hedge. Yeah. Yeah, it's good it's still operating. I'm not sure what this one is. And you don't know coming up? Oh, it's one of these. I think this is a 2-player game. Okay, don't hit anything. That's... Oh. Can you not? You can't shoot up and down. Yee, wow. Invaders, huh? I don't think you're controlling this. Oh, I get an extra guy? A lot of these games, you only get one life. Can you destroy those? It's really tricky. I think... Did I get destroyed? It's hard to pay attention to this game. I don't think you're in control of those. I'm definitely the yellow guy. Oh, at least I blew him up. This also reminds me of the audio in a set of Imagic games for the Atari 2600. Who knows? But I think you shoot those guys. Here's one called Cosmic Conflict. Let's see what the Cosmic Conflict... Some of these things had a different label on the same game. Oh no, this one looks different. Ooh, interesting. A maze game? Did we start? Well, I don't know what's going on. Oh, it's one of these kind of games. Alert where? Shoot the alert. That's alert. It said alert. We have to shoot the alert. Wow, this is actually challenging. Is that friendly? Do I... Oh, you have limited stuff. It's counting down every time I shoot at this thing that I can't hit. Heat light. Yeah, the joystick moves backwards too. Okay, this is an interesting ship. At least this one. Is this friendly? Not anymore. Is it friendly? Not anymore. Not after I shot at it. These are easier to hit. Oh, hey. I'm fighting a TIE fighter. There it is. I wonder if I'm getting to the... Oh, well, he got me. See, I wonder if I'm getting to the Death Star. Shoot him. I didn't get him. I think it just takes energy. Get that pink thing. Wow. Right and left's okay, but up and down operate backwards. Flight stick controls. You can actually guide the shot. Okay, I'm getting away from that thing because it once again... Nope, I'm not getting away from that thing. When these pop up, you have to shoot them. Or you can just go after these. I don't know if any of these are friendly. You're not supposed to shoot them. These are really hard because they shift. You gotta shoot before he's too close. Let's kill one of these. Or not. Let's kill one of these. They move straight across. No. Well. These are probably the most challenging because they actually shift their... It's one of them. No. No, one was going straight across. I have a feeling that maybe you just have to shoot. Because I noticed the counter is going down. Before you run out of energy. Oh, I think it's just counting down even if I'm not shooting. 2. Can he do it? God damn. Wow. Oh, I think he got me. 55. Let's find a regular ship. 0. Done. Message. You failed. Message from Earth, from Star Command. You suck. Please report for core. I'm dead. Okay. I'll send my skeleton. My space vapor. Yes, Katanu. Interesting game. Pickaxe Pete, if it's what I think it is, it was one of the original platforming games. And switching controllers again because it just came up on the other controller. I have no idea what's going on. I guess I died. There's a key up there. You can go up. You can go up ladders. Pushing the button does some weird thing. You can hit these with your pickaxe. I'm not sure what that does. Wait, do you get points? No, so that... Whoa, I don't have my pickaxe, but I can duck. You can jump, and you can duck. No, don't get hit by those, whatever they are. They explode. You can hit them with your pickaxe. And they come out of those boxes. So this is a very, if it's what I'm thinking of, it's a very simplified version. If they're spinning and they hit you, if it's, oh wow. But I think if you touch those too long, you lose your pickaxe. So at some point, a key appears. Wow. I don't know why you lose your pickaxe. I don't know if it's time limited. Falling doesn't kill you. Falling doesn't kill you. Oh, it just times out? Oh, wow. Can you get another one? You can jump over them. This is a wacky game. You can actually jump over those things. And there's the key that must be the way out. That's a pretty wild game. This is certainly an interesting competitor to the Atari 2600 and Intellivision and the other games of the era. I think there was a cartridge to allow you to use the keyboard for an attempt at programming, probably half-hearted. It doesn't have, well, you got the numbers and probably has a calculator function. You know, I think when it came on, it gave you some basic functionality without a cartridge. But mine just does this thing. It's trying to say something. Don't play my games. You're not good at them. I wonder if you, how you could get a calculator and it makes that noise. Nope. Doesn't seem to do anything that way. If we go back to the main TV screen here, get back to my system. Is it 2? It's 2. And see if Windows didn't move everything. Windows shouldn't be moving anything because I'm just changing the TV screen source. But let's, oh yeah, I don't have access to this. Let's take a look to see. I need to do something with the system. It's just going to go down on the floor. Maybe. There are too many wires. Okay, come on. Little trip down. Oh, I have to unplug the, where'd it go? It's here somewhere. To unplug the source. There we are. Not going to worry about going back to my usual config because I'm going to just take my break. It's already 8:30. But I wanted to check one thing. How do you use the calculator? It might require a cartridge. Oh, this might not. The Odyssey 2. I wonder if it tells you on here. Yeah, and then there's this cool thing. I've never seen this video pack. G7200. It's like, oh, how cool. This actually looks like a cool thing, except it still has one of these keyboards. And I don't know what this switch is for. But it's pretty interesting. That's the power switch. It's like a higher end version. Look at that cool speaker they have back there. It's like a higher end version. Built in. Are there built-in games? Not according. 1 of 4 matches. Built in. No. The original Odyssey, yeah, their games were just built in. It's interesting though that they had 64 shapes built into ROM, so I guess that was the numbers and letters and all that. But they had 64 of them. That was a pretty neat idea. So there's no built-in, like built-in little functions. I thought there was. And that's our adventure with the Odyssey 2 today. I might come back. I have about 20 cartridges for it, so I might do another cartridge review. There's not much you can talk about some of these games or much you can do with them because they're so basic, like Space Invaders. Well, you shoot the invaders. You shoot the mothership. You go until you die. That's it. So I am going to conclude the filming here with the exit and take a break. But I'm not exiting just yet. I have... Oh, I didn't set it up. I have exit music ready. Somewhere, I even have the exit screen. And I just switched over to the Invader Zim overlay for no reason. That's it for the Odyssey 2. If I've got this right, I'll be seeing you.